Well, hello, friends. Glad you could join us. Welcome to the first round of this Monkey Mafia esports season. We are tonight at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico City for what should be a very fine Grand Prix. This beginning of season 4 should be a lot of fun here because this is my first time back in a little while. Because I like to do things specially. We'll run you through the season schedule as well. This first week here at Mexico, next time out, November the 4th, we'll be at Brazil, Saudi Arabia, round 3. At Jeddah, we'll be at Barcelona, round 4, Las Vegas, round 5, Qatar, round 6, Abu Dhabi, round 7, the Red Bull Ring, round 8. We'll have the Christmas holiday break at round in between 8 and 9. Round 9 is actually, hey, that's my birthday. January the 6th at Silverstone. Should be fantastic. And then we'll have Netherlands, Zandvoort, round 10, Singapore, round 11, Miami, round 12, China 13, Australia 14, and then rounding out the season in Suzuka for round 15 on February 17th. So, definitely hope to be along with the ride for you. Now, I'm doing something special here because not usually I will actually record qualifying, just to make it easier for myself and actually being able to upload next day. But we'll have qualifying up for you here. First one out on track looks to be the Haas of Ronnie 121, and he's actually gone for the medium tires here. Reimer in the McLaren as well seem to have fit the mediums, at least for the time being. Whether or not it stays that way, we'll have to wait and find out. But I think that the degradation is quite high on this track. Maybe these drivers looking to have multiple runs with those medium tires instead of going out, putting on a set of softs, having to come back in, new set for the next 2 runs. That would kind of be my guess. Also, if you do hear driver comes with us, we got a couple of drivers in the Discord group chat as well. We've got Granny the Aston Martin, we've got Jacob the Williams, and we do have Slayerized in the Aston Martin. They will be joining us tonight in a bit of a commentary sense, live driver audio, so you do hear them. That will be that. Hopefully they don't say anything to NSFW, but we'll find out. I really don't care if they do or don't. We can all edit that down. I'm not making any money off of this to actually be, or at least on YouTube. I'm not making any YouTube money to be demonetized or canceled, so they can say what they want. It looks as if Ronnie's going to be the first driver out on track here on his timed lap. Let's take you through this timed lap now. He's going to make his way down the very long pit straight here. They're going to hit some of the highest top speeds of the season, 300 kilometers an hour before he's even reached DRS. It's huge, hugely quick here into this very tight and tricky first couple of corners here. 1, 2, and 3, right, then left, then right again. Sometimes we'll see drivers cut this second corner accidentally. Max Verstappen did that on qualifying on Sunday. Through those section of corners, you'll have DRS coming up here again. Right there. Now, mind you, it is just the one detection zone, so if you do get it down the pit straight and you do make that overtake, you will have it again coming out of turn 3 in towards the left of 4, the right of 5, and then in towards this kind of double apex right-handers of, 6 and 7. No, just 6. That counts as one corner. Now in through the rest of Sector 2 here, what I consider really the most difficult part of this track, this 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Very, very tricky. Then as you exit turn 11, you get DRS once again here, heading into the baseball stadium, right-hander turn 12. DRS there. There's the right-hander in towards now the stadium itself, 13, 14, and 15. That's 13, 14, and then 15, that little right-hander, a left-hander back. Then the very long right-hander of 16 and eventually 17. It's broken up into 2 corners here. And then across the line you go, 115, 666. Probably not the best lap we're going to see tonight, but that's a good one to get on the board first thing. It is the Sauber of George Mazda guy who's come out second. It doesn't really look to be on a quick lap here. I don't think that one's going to be looking worth looking forward to. Yo, my monster. Okay, well, Monster in the Red Bull. Oh, God. Monster in the Red Bull. Fantastic. Monster in the Red Bull has just gone 16,550. Granny's gone 115,073. That is a fantastic first attempt from him. A clear, 6/10 quicker than Ronnie in second. Crossing the line now was the Sauber of Gatillo going 7th. As Ayahuasca 1:14.336. New fastest lap, 7.5 tenths clear of the Aston Martin Granny, which we've just seen. Ayahuasca did spend some time in the Midwest Esports League. Very, very quick driver. I've had a little bit of history commentating him. He is a very fast guy, and I definitely look out for him to be one of the championship winners or contenders this season. Gasboy's gone third, just about 1.3 off the pace. We got the Williams of Jacob to the line now, 1:16.055. I think he has improved there. If so, not very much. He stays P6. Got George Mazda guy coming out of the final... George Mazda guy coming out of the final two corners now into the pit lane. He is. We've got the Red Bull coming up next.
You being in a green car. That was weird.
So Monster in the Red Bull has gone, stayed 10.
Everybody's car now. Again.
Crossing the line now was the V-Carb of Caesar, who has gone actually second, about 3 tenths behind his teammate of Ayahuasca, over a 1.25 seconds quicker than his previous attempt. Into the pit lane now is the Ferrari of Valentine. Hey, good seeing Valentine back in the car. I haven't commentated a race of his in quite a long time. Anime Boy unfortunately has invalidated this attempt, although it looks like he's going to go for another one here. Hopefully that's not third sector this and next. It wasn't, so he's back to another one here. DRS activated on the medium tires as well. Out of the final corner now, I believe the V-Carb of... It is going to be Ayahuasca starting another one now. Is on the soft tires. A little bit odd to see double attempts on the softs. I would kind of figure that the guys in the mediums would be doing that more, not necessarily these fellas that do reside on the softs. One guy also on the mediums is that of Reimer, making his way through Sector 2 now. It looks like he'll have a clean track ahead of him, at least to be able to make this a good attempt. Crossing the line was El Capitan, who has gone fourth. Only about 6/100ths behind Granny in third, so Ferrari, a good attempt from him there. Coming up along around the final corner now is going to be that of Reimer, starting his timed attempt. He'll take that last corner wide, cut back to the inside, get as much of a run as he can across the line, and this lap is now underway. Down the pit straight he goes. Reimer, if you don't watch any of the other leagues I commentate, I do commentate this fella quite a lot, and I will say this about him, very quick driver, does like to stack the downforce on his car as much as he possibly can. So, will he be quick in those straight line speeds? Probably not as some of the drivers around him, but he will still be fast in these tight and tricky corners that we see here at the back end of Sector 1, and then heading in through Sector 2. Ayahuasca has gone fastest lap again, 1:14.207. That's got about 4:20 behind him. That's ironic. About 4:20 back to Caesar. Lots of wheel spin there for Reimer, getting on the throttle, exiting the that complex of corners there. So Reimer's gone purple Sector 2, heading in towards the baseball stadium now. Has only just kept himself within the white line. Somebody's already taken the ball out on the inside of the corner, and that one. And I think that one as well. Through turn 16, eventually 17 coming up after this. 10:15 remaining in the session, and across the line for Reimer goes third, 1:14.857. That's a halfway decent attempt there for your first one. Not to mention on the medium tires as well. Currently the driver quickest on said medium tires, Ronnie and Anime Boy, the other two, currently 6th and 8th respectively. Anime Boy out of the final corner does not make the decision in time to be actually able to come into the pit lane. We do have Ayahuasca making his way around the final corner now. Will also decide to come in. 18 cars on the grid tonight. It's a fantastically packed grid of Monkey Mafia action here. What was I looking for? Coming around the final corner now, we do have George Mazda guy putting together what appears to be his first timed attempt of the session. It's a 1:16.288. Has his teammate there by about 0.6 of a second, but still behind quite considerably here. Out of the final corner as well, we do have Gatillo coming around on the fresh set of soft tires. Currently about two and a half, nearly 3 seconds off the pace of our leader of Ayahuasca. In the first couple of corners, I believe that was Williams. Whatever Williams that was has either gotten out of the way for the other cars or had some sort of a spin there. Gatillo coming to the Sector 1.
I think England had a time change.
Sector 1, half a second there, quicker for Gatillo. That's a very good.
Time change.
That's a very good first sector.
Do we have a time change? Next week. Okay.
Really? Damn. Anyways.
Next week, can we go back an hour?
Oh, actually, that's a good thing.
Unless you leave it as on and then you know. Yeah, I think England did theirs this weekend. So Taylor was like, oh, fuck, we'll change time. I'll change.
Sometimes it's interesting to hear what the drivers will talk about whilst they're in the middle of having a qualifying session here. I always thought that was interesting. You know, I usually just try to keep it business as I could. Some drivers actually continued to try to like having a bit of camaraderie with those around them in the middle of the race. I remember doing that in F2 a little bit. Not necessarily any time I ever drove F1, but Gatillo will go actually 9th. That's a good lap for him. 1:15, 600 does improve by quite a lot there, up to the 9th spot. Midway through the grid. Not a bad place to be. 7 minutes 20 remaining in the session now. We do have, I believe, is that the Alpine of Gasboy. Not on the timed lap here. The Ferrari behind him might be. No, he's not. Capitan on an out lap that's been invalidated here. Hopefully he'll be able to start one on anyways. Across the line he goes, starting his now. Has about 9/10 of a second to make up, to get up to Ayahuasca. Caesar, by the way, his teammate actually on a flyer here, coming around the final corner, was slow through Sector 2, and does not improve. Slower by about 2/10 of a second. Ayahuasca making his way on an out lap now. Coming out of the final corner, we do have Taylor McKenzie. Sorry, that's the other Haas, actually, of Ronnie, about to begin one. Jacob through the final stages of the lap here. Let's see if he's able to put together something. Oh, really wide out of that 16th corner. Across the line he goes. Actually does improve by quite a bit there. 3.5, nearly 4/10 of a second up to the 8th spot. That's across the line. That was Taylor McKenzie. He's actually gone 4th. Good lap there then from the Haas. Across the line now, I believe that was the Mercedes of Auto Labs. JC Auto Labs. Currently George Bush behind Ayahuasca. Oh god, that one's going to get me canceled. Crossing the line just then was the Ferrari of El Capitan. He's improved by about 1/10 of a second there. Still 5th, as Ayahuasca has started another timed lap now. Has actually just previously gone best, I believe. 1:14.207. Actually, no, he hasn't improved there, has he? I think this has to be his hot lap here. As Ronnie's actually going to go 3rd now. Reimer gets pushed down to 4th, although Reimer now on a flyer. Out of the final stage of the lap, we do have as well the Williams of Jacob, who has invalidated. We've got the Aston Martin of Slayer Eyes making his way through the baseball stadium now, as well as Granny. Coming through the final stages of the lap on an out lap, about to begin. See what Slayer Eyes has to offer here, coming to the final corner. Not a bad lap at all. 1:14.872, improved by about... Yes, it is, Slayer Eyes. That was fantastic. Good lap there. That was a very good attempt there. Improved quite a lot up to that 5th spot. Ayahuasca going down the Sector 2 DRS section now does not appear to be on his timed lap anymore. 4.5 minutes remaining in the session, so I would assume we're going to have some drivers come in here rather shortly. Get a final set of tires on, and then get back out for their final attempt of the session. Lancey, Flying Dutchman, as I oftentimes call him, making his way through the baseball stadium now. Very quick driver, this. Look for him to be a player. I think he's only just a reserve, but still. Reimer on a flyer now through, well, that was last time round, I believe it was. Seems to be on a flyer now. Let's stay along with this lap here. Entering low fuel mode in towards into Sector 1, 7/100ths quicker. Not too bad. We've got Sleigh Rise into the pit lane now. Reimer.
Oh, that pin entry on a turn is a bitch.
I have to agree with that. That is a very difficult one there. It
comes up quick. Well, it's like when you're slamming on your brakes in the turn, like, it's just gonna lock up and slide out. Yeah.
It's almost more similar to that one of Hungary, where you got to go around the bend and then immediately kind of into the pit lane.
I didn't think I was gonna get the 14s.
I feel like I can. I just, for some reason, I'm screwing up.
I feel like I qualified above my skill level.
Well, because, like, I'm actually faster than Reimer in Sector 1, but then he kicks my ass in 2.
Must have lower wings than him. Yeah, what are you running?
You talking to me?
Yeah, what are you running?
For wings?
Yeah.
40, 30.
I'm running 36.41.
Bit of setup discussion there going on. Lancey has actually just gone 5th. 2.5 minutes remaining in the session now. Only one of 3 drivers currently on track. That's going to change here in a second. Ronnie out on track. And I believe was that him or was that Jacob talking about trying to get round Reimer there? So final 2 minutes of the qualifying session now. Caesar has invalidated this outlap somewhere along the line. Hopefully it'll let him continue. 2 minutes remaining now. Cross the line and beginning what should be his final timed attempt is that of Caesar.
No, but I was letting him know we were almost done with quality. I think he started to panic.
Caesar through the first couple of corners now, trying his best. 1, 2, and 3. DRS activated. Let's see where he gets out to at the end of Sector 1 here. 310 kilometer now. He's actually slower by about 2/100ths there through Sector 1. That's worrying. Of course, is that if that car is built for the... If that car is more designed and set up for the slow speed sections like this. Well, I say slow speed, it's very quick through here, actually. That car is built to handle through here better. That might be a sign of improvement. Whoa, I tell you what, he's handled that about as good as anyone. 10th better through Sector 2. So Caesar's on for an improvement here, only just. He's not going to have enough to get around his teammate of Ayahuasca. Through the baseball stadium he goes, and well, he's handled that pretty well, has to be said. Through 16 and 17 coming up now. Takes that final corner very, very short and across the line. Does improve by about 0.2 of a second. Still behind Ayahuasca by 2.5. Ronnie out of the final corner now. Coming to the line. Where's he going to be? And short. 1:14.455. About 2.5 as well behind Ayahuasca. Only about 2/100ths. Actually, between Caesar and Ronnie. That 2 very good laps there. 20 seconds remain. Granny is going to have time to get back around and start one now. It's going to be close. He's got 15 seconds. Hopefully he's not invalidated this and next. King Crow player has also joined the session. 10 seconds remaining now. Coming out of the final corner, we do have Ayahuasca beginning his. Reimer beginning his as well. Lancey has retired in the pit lane. Final sets of cars crossing the line. There it was. Gab making his way through the final 2 corners. Has not had a good third sector there, it appears. We've got the Haas next up of Taylor McKenzie, who has invalidated. Nothing there for them. We've got George Mazda guy next up out of the final corners. Is improving, but not at a rate to put him very much high. No, he's going to stay 18th behind him. The Mercedes of JC Autolab stays 10th. The Ferrari next up of Capitan goes 5th. We've got the Williams of Anime Boy goes 12th. Valentine after that goes into the pit lane. Jacob up after this. Seems to be improving. Doesn't. Actually slower by about 3.5 of a second. Sleigh Rise next up here. I don't think he's not going to be on for pole. This is not a bad lap from him here. No, he's actually slower by quite a bit. See if Ronnie's able to get himself up there. Doesn't. Cross. Well, Granny crosses the line third. Reimer actually goes second by less than a tenth over Ayahuasca. That's going to do it for your qualifying session. Great attempt from Reimer. Ends up a tenth short. And your starting lineup is going to look like this for the opening round of the season. It is the V-Carb of Ayahuasca on pole. Fantastic lap from him. Reimer second, Granny third. The Aston Martin getting himself up there. Caesar actually starting in fourth. He's been pushed back in those final couple of tenths. About 2 100s behind him is Ronnie in fifth. Capitan sixth. Lancey seventh. Aston Martin of Slayer Eyes in eighth. It'll be ninth for Taylor McKenzie. 10th for JC Auto Labs. 11th for Gab. 12th for Anime Boy. 13th Gazboy. 14th Jacob. 15th Monster in the Red Bull. We've got Gatillo 16th, Valentine 17th, Mazda Guy 18th, and King Pro Player running at the grid without a time, but 19th for him. So, very tight amongst the top 5 or 6 cars there. We'll have to wait and see if that translates into the race. So, formation lap now underway for the Mexican Grand Prix. This is where I'm always interested in. Let's see who has gone gutsy with tire strategies and who hasn't. Well, it's actually quite halfway decently split here. We've got a total of 6 drivers on the hard tires. The rest of them have gone medium for this occasion. More interestingly enough, Caesar and Ronnie, actually the 2 furthest drivers up the grid on those hard tires, 4th and 5th. That's interesting to me. I feel like if you're on the medium tires in this scenario and you've got an early safety car, you're going to have a huge advantage here. I'm not too sure these fellas on the hards are actually going to be able to, keep in there as far as the strategy. Usually, now I'll be fair with you, usually if I'm racing, I like having a strategy where you take the slower compound first, especially if you're far enough up the grid to where you can lose a couple of spots and kind of still be okay. Problem is now is that you're in you're in and amongst a sea of drivers that are on those medium tires as well, and you're the only 2 who have gone hard. Think driver to look out for here, obviously Ayahuasca and Reimer, 2 cars, very quick in their own right. The question will be if they are able. I mean, realistically, it's going to be a drag race into that first corner. What the question is going to be to me is going to be who actually has that advantage off the line. Reimer, quick driver, is not usually known for his starts. He's not the quickest of getaways, but if he does it cleanly enough, he will at least be in contention in that first corner where we're surely going to see some drama on this opening lap. I don't know if you heard that or not. I had the chat gone down. Granny, the Aston Martin here I'm on along with, has actually just complained that Reimer is taking the bollard going through the baseball stadium. That's kind of funny. So Ayahuasca lining up on the grid. He will have the outside into the first corner, but I will say, and there's your strategy, 16 to 28 is your predicted pit stop. I will say this, though, by the time you do get into that first corner, I'm not sure it's going to matter what line you're at. It's a very, very long run into that first corner as King Pro Player joins the grid. 19 cars ready to do battle here in Mexico. And here we are. Lights turning on now. 4 and eventually 5 likes. The opening round of Season 4, the Monkey Mafia Esports League. And we are underway. I want to say it's a very even start there between both Reimer and Granny and Ayahuasca off the line. Granny's actually going to get a better one. He's going to try to slot in behind the V-Carb heading into the first corner. Wheel to wheel, nose to nose on the way into turn 1. Hopefully everybody keeps it clean. There's a Ferrari in the grass towards the back. Reimer to the inside. Does have the advantage for now. Granny slots in behind in third. Able to keep the position, at least for the time being. But Ayahuasca has been taken into the first corner. Capitan now side by side with Ronnie heading in towards turn 4. This one could get sketchy. JC Auto Labs and McKenzie side by side in the corner as well. 2 by 2. They're stacked up looking like NASCAR through these first opening corners as Reimer has the advantage 4/10 of a second. Ayahuasca second. Granny third. Caesar fourth as we got Lancey and Slayer Eyes now side by side exiting turn 6 and up through 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Very difficult section. Oh, that's a very fast spinning Gazboy into the wall. Virtual safety car on track already. That car spun to the inside as quick as I've ever seen, is missing the entirety of the front wing, and we've got a stoppage here early.
I think that was my teammate too. No, it wasn't. Oh, thank God.
Well, that was a great getaway from Reimer now, and I think what's going to benefit him here as well is that Ayahuasca will not have DRS until the green flag goes back in the air here. So if Reimer can stay ahead and actually have somewhat of an advantage, Ayahuasca won't even have DRS going in towards the next DRS section, because again, it was yellow flag, I think, when the virtual safety car came out. So yeah, he's not going to have that. That's huge for Reimer here. If he times this correctly and is able to get away, he'll be off to some advantage. DRS is now enabled now. Ayahuasca will not have it, but almost gets close enough to make the overtake anyway on the way into turn 4. Capitan, Lancey, Ronnie stacking up as well as the Aston Martin, a Slayer Eyes. Oh, look at the Slayer Eyes actually under pressure from Taylor McKenzie. Now on the way in towards turn 6, the Haas all over the back end of the Aston Martin, but nothing's going to be there for the time being. I will say Caesar has been relatively caught out here. He's on those hard tires. That car looks to be struggling for the time being. He doesn't appear to have wing damage, but he is now losing time significantly, almost 2 seconds, back to the top 3, who make their way now in towards the baseball stadium. Don't usually expect to see many overtakes in toward this 12th corner. It's a very difficult one to get right. There's not all that much runoff on the outside, so if you get pushed wide, you're probably going to have your day done. So Reimer with the fastest lap. Down the pit straight they go. Obviously, that will be decimated on this next time by. Ayahuasca DRS activated. He's closing in very, very quickly here. Heading in towards the first corner. Is he going to be able to get up alongside in time? Sticks the wheel in underneath, side by side into turn 1. Reimer breaks a little bit later. He's going to park it on the apex at 2 and then go wide out of 3, and has been able to keep the spot. Now, Ayahuasca will still have DRS. Remember, he was behind at the detection point all the way before entering turn 16, so he's still got it here as well. Granny in this position too, trying to kind of get himself there as well. Lancey and El Capitan side by side. The Ferrari to the inside will actually be able to get around the Alpine, at least for the time being. I hope that was clean. It looked all right to me. Don't know if they really got in that position cleanly or not, but we'll have to wait and see. I don't think Lancey has seen or done anything wrong there, nor is El Capitan, hopefully. Heading in towards turn 12, Reimer leads only 0.3 of a second over that of Ayahuasca. It appears again, Reimer's going to be significantly better through that slow speed sector. The problem is that you can't make up position anyway through there. It's almost worth more having your car be quicker in the straight line than actually trying and playing the game for having a better sector 2 and then hoping that you're going to be able to stay ahead when, in reality, no mistake means you're going to stay ahead anyway. There's just not going to be any overtaking through there. But where there will be overtaking is right now in towards turn 1, Ayahuasca around the outside, and Reimer, I'm pretty sure, has just conceded that one anyways. And now, once again, we'll mention this too, Ayahuasca will have DRS one more time, this time exiting turn 3 in towards 4. Reimer's going to be in a hell of a lot of trouble here because Granny's coming up behind. On the way into 4, nothing really much there. Let's see if there's any progress here from Slayer Eyes. I thought he was going to have a look at Capitan there temporarily. Didn't really. 0.3 of a second between the two of them on the way in now in towards turn 6. Oh, bit of contact there on the back end. Oh, and it's a bit of an accordion effect there. Slayer Eyes has gotten to the back of Capitan. McKenzie gets into the back of Slayer Eyes, and I think maybe was JC Auto Labs involved as well. Through sector, in towards sector 3 they go. Anime Boy behind. JC Auto Labs. Maybe will he have a peak there? Nah, not really. Down the pit straight they'll go. About to begin the 5th lap of 36 scheduled. Ayahuasca fastest lap 1:16.633. Reimer will have DRS, but will he be able to actually use it to his advantage here and get around Ayahuasca? In towards turn 1, he's not going to be close enough. He'll have to look for it into 4. Caesar and Ronnie battling it out side by side. V-Carb's going to get around him. Up to the 4th spot, we've got Monster and the Red Bull. They're being overtaken, I think, by both, or at least just King Pro Player. And now, there's the move by Reimer. Of course, naturally, I wasn't along with it, but he's had it well before the corner with the aid of DRS. Reimer back up to the point here. Granny in position, potentially, to get around Ayahuasca. Not really going to have it through 6. If there was some camber to that corner, that would be helpful, but there's not. Very flat corner. Taylor McKenzie now 3.5 of a second behind Capitan through sector 2. Ronnie actually may have a look at Caesar here. He's going through much better than that of Caesar did. We'll check back with them in a minute as Jacob's going to be our first driver of the day. 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. Oh, Anime Boy right up against the back end of JC Auto Labs there, then through 13, 14, and 15. He's not been able to make it happen, but we'll see now down the pit straight. Granny's actually coming up really quick here on the back end of Ayahuasca. I think Ayahuasca has not had that good of a Sector 3, but it's not going to matter. He's still going to try to send it to the inside. Reimer coming up next, has to find a way around. Granny in this position as well. Reimer, bit of a slide exiting turn 3. Down the DRS straight they go. Reimer will not have it. The Aston Martin's in a good position here. He's not going to go for it this time. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Granny stays third. Reimer will go back to second as Taylor McKenzie trying to go down the inside of El Capitan, and he's done that. That was a good-looking move there from the Haas. We'll say the grid's staying together very well. There's only a couple of these, kind of 3-second gaps. We've got 3 seconds between Ronnie and the top 3. Got 3 seconds between Taylor McKenzie, Lancey, Caesar, and Ronnie. And all the way back to Valentine and 16th drivers within a second of each other here, as we do see Capitan and McKenzie side by side. Capitan's going to go around the outside in through 12. Not a move we expected to see, but one we have. Very nicely done there for the Ferrari, up to the 7th spot. Down the pit straight once more. Reimer could be in position to find one at Ayahuasca. DRS activated. He's going to be a little bit further behind. But let's see, will he have it now? He's maybe going to have a look. I think he's got enough time. No, he's going to choose not to. As we do have Caesar and Ronnie side by side. We got a yellow flag coming down the final corner. I believe that's Mazda guy who's gone round. Ayahuasca extending the track as much as he possibly can there. He's done well. He's going to keep Reimer behind, at least for the time being. Ronnie back to Caesar, not going to be close enough. Auto Labs alongside. Slayer Eyes making their way. Headed towards turn 4. Slayer Eyes actually going to try to send it to the inside of Capitan. Oh, a little squirrely underbraking there, but he's kept it together. And now Anime Boy is actually going to almost force Auto Labs off the track there. They were side by side. We didn't really see Anime Boy even remotely onside Auto Labs. Maybe he was at a bit of a, what do you call it there? And not necessarily a torpedo, that's the wrong way to describe it, but he's definitely been late on the brakes. If I was JC Auto Labs, I'd probably be asking for that place back unless that Williams was ahead at the apex. DRS activated once more. Ronnie alongside Caesar. That one's going to be a foregone conclusion there. Will Reimer be able to have a look at Ayahuasca? Not quite. Now, what's going to be interesting here is this. We do have the back-marking Alpine of Gasboy. He could actually play a little bit of a role in this because that could allow Ayahuasca DRS to the back end to try to get around the back marker. We'll have to wait and see if when they're at the next detection point, if he's within that second of the Alpine. If that's the case, Ayahuasca, Reimer, and Granny will all have DRS here. King Pro player is going to look to the inside, sorry, the outside, actually, of Gab, and he'll make that one happen well before they get to the corners. We have a yellow flag. The Ferrari of Valentine's gone around, I'm afraid. That one's exiting turn 3. Seems as he's gotten it back together. Through Sector 2 they go. Reimer behind by only about 0.2 of a second. DRS will be activated here. Ayahuasca does not have it to Gasboy. Not quite yet, at least. Maybe as they go down the pit straight. Maybe now. In through the baseball stadium. This is the detection point coming up now. And I don't believe he's going to have it. No, Reimer's going to do well here. And what will be interesting for Reimer is that if he's actually in position and is able to get round Ayahuasca, that will give Reimer potentially even 2 bits of DRS here. Let's see. He's going to well have his way on the V-carb this time heading into the first corner. As Caesar's going to get round Ronnie up to 4th again. Now Reimer's going to keep it anyways because of how the DRS zones are laid out here. Ayahuasca will not have it. Taylor McKenzie and El Capitan side by side going through the corner. Slayer Eyes now trying to poke his head on the right side of Capitan. Side by side. DRS will be activated for the Aston Martin, not the Ferrari. Capitan's going to be losing at least a couple of spots here to Anime Boy as well. The Williams around the outside. Contact with the Ferrari. They're going to push into each other there. Taylor McKenzie's gone off somewhere along the line. Picks up a 3-second time penalty. As Valentine is our first retirement of the session, thankfully that being in the pit lane. Now, Reimer has gotten past the Alpine of Anime Boy. He has gone ghosted. Reimer, I don't still think will have DRS because he did overtake him before they got to the detection line. That'd be my guess. Yeah, surely. So no DRS from Reimer. Ayahuasca starts this battle about 0.8 of a second behind. Let's see if we'll get close enough here. On the way to turn 1, no. He's going to be about half a second short. Slayer Eyes now on Taylor McKenzie. To the inside is going to make that one relatively easy. King Pro Player now to the inside of El Capitan. I'll have that one. JC Autolabs actually being overtaken by the Red Bull of Gab that time. Capitan's going to swap in behind King Pro Player. Nearly getting into the back end of the Mercedes then, but he'll keep it clean. Oh, Lancey! Big slide there on the way into turn 4. He's caught it. Only just. Ronnie's going to be next up now. He'll have the still the V-carb of Caesar in his sight. So what I will say is this gap between Caesar and the top 3 was about 3 seconds not too long ago. These two cars trading DRS with each other and swapping this position is actually making them go faster. They've closed that gap down to about 2 seconds now. Let's remember as well, these are the 2 drivers on the hard tires out of the top 10. Jacob on now a 3-second time penalty, up to 6 for him. Maybe these 2 guys, the tires are just starting to work their ways in here. Rondi to the inside, he'll have that one. Ayahuasca, he's going to be short on Reimer again here, I think. Yeah, this time only about 0.4 of a second shy. As towards the back, Anime Boy. DRS on Taylor McKenzie. McKenzie actually had it on Slayer Eyes that time, was unable to make anything happen. The yellow flag out of the final corner. Gab's gone round. Oh, contact there with several cars. Slayer Eyes being one of them. Missing a bit of front wing on the right side as well. On way to the inside is Taylor McKenzie. He has sent it on the Aston that time. Side by side they go. Back on the throttle. King Pro Player, 3-second penalty. McKenzie on one as well. JC Autolabs, as we were along with that battle, picked up one as well. Reimer has managed to stay ahead of Ayahuasca in that exchange. Once again, coming up towards the halfway point of the Grand Prix, that's when the tire pit window is going to be. I'm assuming Slayer Eyes may have to get that front wing changed. This is not a track where you want any lack of downforce, and I think that's what Slayer Eyes is going to be dealing with here. He's going to have to stop and get that one fixed. Of course, it's only just the end plate on the right side. We talk about the wings and having cornering performance. We also forget that it's braking performance as well that gets hampered when you've got wing damage. Ayahuasca stays behind Reimer for the time being, in towards turn 4 coming up next. That may not be the case, although Reimer's gotten away much better. He's actually cleared Ayahuasca by about 0.2 of a second that time, in just being able to take that corner better. Slayer Eyes and King Pro Player side by side. It looks like Slayer Eyes going to fall back. Maybe as well with that wing damage, that one's not helped him. Caesar back to Ronnie. It appears the Haas has kept the V-carb at bay for the time being. Reimer going through Sector 2 now, clean as he'd like. Although as those tires get worn, you may expect him to find a little bit of slippage. Also here, Granny's on the ropes now. Ronnie may have him into 12. He's going to look to the inside. Nah, he's not really going to be in position to overtake him there. Definitely into turn 1 would be my guess. Have a cheeky look to the inside there through 12. Or is that 13 at that point? Yeah, that is 13 at that point. Into the pit lane goes Granny. First of the medium tire runners to pit here. Reimer down the pit straight, nearly had Ayahuasca by a second, coming out of 16 and 17. Granny into the pit lane. Obviously, it's going to be the hard tires for him, as the rest of the grid's kind of going to blow by him here. Caesar to the back end of Ronnie, maybe through turn 3 and 4. Not quite. Good battle maybe happening back here. The Red Bull of Monster trying to get back to Jacob potentially for that 12th spot. Jacob on 6 seconds of penalties. Granted, only lose about 1 position for the time being. Of course, the remainder of the grid does have to pit still. Capitan nearly into the back end of Slayer Eyes that time. It appears now, what's interesting, it's actually gone backwards now. The gap between Ronnie and Caesar, and now the top two, has actually gone back to 3 seconds. That's interesting. They were within 2 seconds not too long ago. At least maybe that was the third car of Granny. Ronnie's not had a good exit of the final corner that time. Jacob now up to his third 3-second time penalty of the day. Caesar to the inside. He's going to have that one relatively easily, I'd think. As Lancey into the pit lane, as well as El Capitan. Oh, big slide there for Caesar.
Still there.
Where you at?
Not sure, maybe he was referring to King Pro Player that time.
I don't know why you're racing me so hard. I have 9 seconds of penalty. I'm
Because
like,
it's
you
fun.
gonna get the freaking spot. Dude, I'm literally just about ready to wreck myself and just say, fuck, go.
Where you at?
With 9 seconds of penalty, basically means I'm in dead last. I'm only beating the kick cars. That's literally it. I'm getting raced like a...
So, anyways, Ronnie over Caesar. Now he's gotten that third spot. Slayerized over King Pro Player, who is going to pit now. Looks as if JC is going to take Monster to the inside. Still the top two between Reimer and Ayahuasca. Now, these two positions have remained relatively unchanged in the recent minutes, which is slightly surprising. I would have figured Ayahuasca's had some sort of advantage by now, but maybe they're just conserving their tires. Ayahuasca, I would have to think that's the case, because he's probably had somewhat of a look at Reimer, sorry, potentially. Either he's not taking it or he's just playing conservative. I don't know. It's a tough call. A couple of laps and we will be halfway through this Grand Prix. Just the one...
Yep, exceeding track limits again. Or, that's a rumble strip. F*** you.
Go City, bro. Hey, Jacob, hey, chance to let me back? I'm already fitted.
Here, I'll just wreck.
No, don't do it.
Little patience, dude.
Whoa. So, anyways. So, JC into the pit lane now. He'll drop a couple of positions. Monster and the Red Bull in. Jacob in. Slayerized in as well. Has Slayerized fixed that front wing? I don't actually believe that he has. No, he hasn't. Okay. Bit of an odd decision that. I would have figured he would have stopped and, you know, maybe taken the extra time, but got himself the downforce back. That's a bold choice. Oh, big slide that time. And that's kind of, as Ronnie picks up a 3-second penalty, that's kind of what we were thinking was going to start happening now towards the back end of the run. We were going to see these guys slide through those quick corners, and Ayahuasca's done just that. He's slid quite a bit. I would assume he may pit this time by. That was the one noticeable hiccup that this V-Carb has had. Reimer's going to stop. Ayahuasca in as well. Definitely going to be the hard tires. Nothing else to really do. Ronnie does stay out again. He did start on the hard tires. So maybe we'll see him pit and not that long of a time for the mediums. Caesar has stayed out as well. Just the only two left to stop. Well, quite a bit, yeah, as yet to stop. Mazda Guy, Gatillo, Jacob, Monster, Mackenzie, Anime Boy, Caesar, and Slayer, and Ronnie, the only three have yet to find the pit lane now, and there goes Mackenzie in. Hard tires on for the Haas. Lance is going to go down the inside of Jacob here, up to the 8th spot. Granny's now got a 3-second penalty. Multiple warnings. Not going to help him in the case to get back up to Ayahuasca. Of course, Granny did pit quite long ago as well. I say long ago, 4 laps, but still. Degradation won't be much on the hard tires to that point, but it will be there. That's going to disadvantage. He's gone for track position, or he's gone for the undercut. He's not necessarily worked, has it? So we're expecting Ronnie and Caesar to pit within the next couple laps here. We have a yellow flag somewhere along the line. Is it Gasboy? Yeah, it's just Gasboy getting out of the way. Oh, that's a big slide for Ronnie. Going out of 16 and 17. Caesar's going to have this one handed to him. Well, maybe not. DRS activated. Caesar only just using it now and finally does get around the Haas in question. Anime Boy into the pit lane. The next car around is that of Reimer, approximately 15 seconds behind. Not a long pit lane, this one, but it is a pit lane nonetheless, so that will give the lead back to Reimer. Ayahuasca now to the inside of Reimer. Once again, could be for, and will be for, the eventual lead of this Grand Prix. Ayahuasca does get the spot. And we'll have DRS again. That's the first time that we've seen Ayahuasca have any sort of attacking presence on Reimer since those early duels they had within the first 10 laps. So the line this time, we will be halfway through this Grand Prix. Beginning the 19th lap of the scheduled 36. 0.3 of a second now between Ronnie and Caesar as they make their way heading towards turn 12. And Ronnie's going to have a small peek to the inside. Not really going to seriously look for it, but he's there nonetheless. Even that there is enough. Oh, maybe he'll try it this time. He'll swap back to the right. They're going to be side by side. Well, I thought so. In towards 16 as Jacob's gone round. Back on the throttle goes Jacob, and actually Caesar, the only one that's decided to come in this time. Ronnie has stayed out. Medium tires for Caesar. As Jacob up to an additional 3 seconds of penalty. 12 now. Question is now, is Reimer... Did he not even have DRS there? I don't think he did. Either that or it's been shut off there. No, Reimer did not get DRS. That last time back to Ayahuasca, of course, as Jacob retires, that being the pit lane. .4 of a second now. Lancey back to Caesar. .4 of a second now. Caesar, does he have a look at Lancey here? He's got to get himself back up to the territory to be able to fight Granny. Of course, it's a 5-second gap between Lancey and Granny now. Granny's actually still trying to poke his head to the battle for Reimer and Ayahuasca here. .16 and 17 they go. Ronnie has now entered the pit lane. Ayahuasca will retake the lead of the Grand Prix. Reimer does have DRS this time. Closing in, not by too much, but it is there nonetheless. Granny, did he just not have it? Huh. That back wing was not open. Through the first couple of corners now, Reimer, as we have a yellow flag. That is George Mazda guy. Sorry, Gatillo. Having a little bit of a spin there on the way into the pit lane. It seems he's got it rightened. And we're back to green flag racing. Capitan to the back end of King Pro Player. DRS activated for the Ferrari now. As another yellow flag. This is the other Sauber, I think. This is Mazda guy. He spun that going through. I believe that's turn 8 at this point. May have lost some end plate. But that's it. Oh, well, Gasboy's gone round as well. Huh. Bit of a sympathy spin that potentially. Whoa, look at this. Side by side through 7. This is close. King Pro Player and Capitan. Wow. You do not see that one very often. Capitan is dispatched of King Pro Player going through turn 7. How they've gotten through that one cleanly, I'll never know. No discredit to either of the drivers, but, I mean, that is about the most difficult spot of the track to try to go side by side with someone in. And now Ronnie to the inside of Lancey looking for that 6th spot. May pick up the slipstream to Caesar ahead, and I think he will. Ronnie may get both of them now. He's going to have a look to the inside. Yeah, there he goes in the Haas from 6th to 4th. Caesar still trying it to the inside. Ronnie's going to have DRS again, but Lancey's going to strike back. And Lancey able to get round. Good little exchange that one. Lancey once again to the inside of Caesar. On the way into 4. Still side by side. The V-Carb's going to have to take that kind of wider line. Got into Lancey then. 5, 6, and 7. Sorry, 4, 5, and 6. Going through now turn 7, and it looks like maybe, at least for the time being, they're going to sort that one out as Anime Boy and Slayer Eye side by side. Anime Boy takes the long way around outside of turn 5, and, well, gets that one done. Three-tenths of a second now. Slayer Eyes up to Anime Boy. Let's have a look at the positions gained and lost. Slayer Eyes down 3. King Pro Player up 12, actually, despite having 3 seconds of penalty. Top 4 remain as they started, which I say that. That's actually just not even the case. Caesar overtaken by both Lancey and Ronnie. Look at this. 2 cars overtaking Caesar. Lancey trying to keep it there on the left side. And he's been able to get around the Haas as well. Caesar only has to sit back and watch that one happen, as both the 2 cars behind him did have DRS in that one. Not necessarily a foregone conclusion, but you knew that that one was going to be trouble for the V-Carb in question. So Lancey up to 4th. Ronnie back up to 5th where he started. Caesar down to 6th. As Slayer is trying around the outside. Oh, he's going to go deep into the braking zone there at 4. A little bit too far in. I think he wanted to go around the outside of Anime Boy through 4. Couldn't quite get it done. Still the 3 cars of Lancey, Ronnie, and Caesar going through 12. As George Mazda guy, 3 seconds of penalty for multiple warnings. That it will put him at, yep, just 3. It's a yellow flag. That is someone gone around there. I think it is. It's just Gazboy again. Has Slayerized. Now up to his 3 seconds of his own. Down the pit straight they go now. Ronnie, will he try the outside of Caesar, of Lancey? Yes, he will. And into the first corner, he'll have that one easily. By the way, let's put it to you this way. Ayahuasca, since having got round Reimers, put 2.5 seconds. Back to the McLaren now in 2nd place. Lancey up 3 seconds in penalty now. That won't help him, except at least he'll be on level playing field with Ronnie ahead of him. Caesar's going to have a look around the outside. Through 4. Oh, he's going to still try to stay there. Nearly a carbon copy of how they took that corner a couple of laps ago. This time Lancey does stay ahead. Two-tenths of a second now still. As Caesar on the back end trying his best to stay within reach of Lancey here. Capitan far behind in that 7th spot. Potentially, if something happens, be able to get himself in there. Taylor McKenzie now up to 6 seconds in penalty. Eight out of the remaining 17 drivers are without penalty for the time being. The good news is the majority of them on 3 seconds only. That meaning at least some of those positions will still be for position genuinely. Caesar to the inside of Lancey will have that one done. Yes, they will. And meanwhile, as that Haas of Ronnie's actually put about 2 seconds back to that battle. King Pro Player not going to be in position to have a look this time on the way in to turn 1. Although he's sure going to have a look for. Oh, he's going to have it again. Exiting turn 3 to the inside. King Pro Player up to 7th. Making their way now through Sector 2, and it looks as if Capitan has fallen slightly behind King Pro Player up the road. Slayer is 0.4 of a second behind Anime Boy here, despite being on 3 seconds of penalty. No guarantee that the Williams won't pick one up as well. Coming up on 10 laps to go here in just a little bit. Seemingly, not necessarily quick-paced Grand Prix, but not slow either. Slayer Eyes will now try the left side of Anime Boy, and he's going to have that one. Grid starting to get a little spread out here. Not necessarily. Still got a couple of good battles going on here. Lancey to Caesar once more. Capitan as well. Anime Boy trying to find the back of Slayer Eyes. Potentially Slayer Eyes does have DRS ahead of him, though. On the way in. Anime Boy does shave that gap down to about 0.4 of a second. In turn 6 they go. And as it looks, the Aston Martin's still doing well. Cool. See, that's interesting there, because not... I know that car is ghosted. That is still definitely played into the mind of either of the two drivers in this battle. If you see a car going in front of you, you're reacting to it even if it isn't there. Small lockup maybe that time for Slayer Eyes on the way in. And again, through 14. That'd be 13 at that point. Still now just 2.5 of a second. Anime Boy's going to go for it. And we'll have it. Nancy's rather fallen off the back of Caesar here, despite having DRS a couple of times now. He's not been able to get that gap back within a reasonable range to be able to overtake. Nor is Capitan back to King Pro Player. Slayer Eyes still 0.6 of a second behind Anime Boy. So we do have a yellow flag coming out of the final corner. Gatillo's gone off. Seems to have gotten it back rolling. Stays green. So 10 laps to go now, left in this Mexican Grand Prix. Ayahuasca had the pole. Reimer took it. Those two battled back and forth for about 10 laps. Reimer had it until that pit window, in which Ayahuasca has since taken it. Still is about 1.5 seconds ahead of the McLaren in question. But with 10 laps left, will Reimer have enough in it to actually be able to get back up and try to take Ayahuasca? Yeah, that's going to be a genuine question there. Oh, Valentine. Well, I'm only just reading this now. Valentine's left stick. Valentine's left stick is actually broken there. That's what he's telling me in the Discord there. Getting the 28th lap of the Grand Prix now. Reimer's still behind by about 1.5 seconds, and I don't believe... I think it's really just going to take a mistake from Ayahuasca here. Reimer's not going to get that lead back on the straights until DRS comes into play, and right now it's just not going to happen. Reimer's going to be much quicker through the second sector and third sector. As Gab picking up a 3-second penalty there. His first of the day. Ronnie's actually within a couple of tenths of Granny here. Meanwhile, let's keep this in mind as well. Caesar currently still about a couple of tenths to the good to be able to take at least one spot off of these cars, currently with 3-second penalties. 4/10 of a second, making their way through Sector 2. Once again, at least as far as they know, this is a battle for position on track. Caesar behind is within that 3-second window, but these two still want to battle and see if they can pull ahead. Meanwhile, now we were just talking about how Reimer was going to need to get that lead back, that advantage back, in the slow speed sector, Sector 2, Sector 3. He's done that. That gap was 2 seconds last time round. Now, almost, well, definitely within a second and a half, nearly within 1.1 after that last lap. He's since lost about another 3/10 just in the straight line. But I tell you what, a couple more laps here as Granny's going to go wheel into the grass there, and Ronnie's going to take him down the inside. I think Granny just wanted to give him enough space. But Reimer, I think in a couple of laps here, we get to lap 33, 34, and he might just be within that window to be able to take Ayahuasca into that first corner. Whether or not he holds it and keeps that position is going to be the ultimate question. Do I think he will? It's really tough because Ayahuasca, when he gets DRS, does not look back. However, Reimer, at any other part of the track, I would say is probably just as good or better. It's a really difficult ask. I think maybe, was it just last time round as El Capitan picks up 3-second penalty. Now only 6 cars in the grid have no penalty here. I think maybe just that last time around it was a bit of a slow one there for Ayahuasca because he's since put another half a second on Reimer, and even through Sector 2 and 3, Reimer was not able to claw any of that back. DRS going to be activated for Granny here. Going down the pit straight, heading into turn 1. Let's see. Quite a ways back here. He's going to have to really lunge if he wants it. And he's going to back off potentially in towards turn 4 is where that move's going to be made. Well, we're going to find out here. I'm not too sure. Exiting turn 3. Ronnie's gone a little bit wide. Granny's going to... Yep, Granny's definitely going to have him now to the inside, heading in towards turn 4. Well, maybe not. Side by side still. So we have a yellow flag. It is the Mercedes. I want to say is that JC Auto Labs entering the pit lane, maybe going slow on the pit straight there. Not too sure. Either way. So Ronnie's actually been able to hold that position for the time being. Meanwhile, this is worth pointing out here. As those two, well, they've lost it now because they've just battled with each other, but as those two were making their way into that exchange through turn 4, they were actually outside at 3.2 back to Caesar. That's actually now down to 2.8. So as it turns out, as Gatillo picks up a 3-second time penalty, his first of the day. Only 5 remain now with no penalty, but that's a good thing, though, because now everybody gets the 3-second penalty. It's just back to normal racing again. And these positions are genuinely, well, for position. But down the pit straight they go. Granny's going to have a look forward on Ronnie here. He's actually going to be forced to the left side. Well, it's going to be easy enough, isn't it? So at the line this time will be 5 laps to go here in the Mexican Grand Prix, the opening round of this Monkey Mafia season, as Capitan's going to stay ahead, get round King Pro Player there on the way into turn 1. Both drivers on 3-second penalty. Anime Boy looks like he'll pick up at least a spot. Back to Taylor McKenzie, who's got 6 seconds of penalty. Anime Boy, currently one of the only drivers with no penalty on the grid, so he'll at least get 9th if this result holds. Meanwhile, once again, 3.1 the gap. But again, closing in, I think maybe Caesar is better through the straight line. It could be, as Gab's going to get around JC into the pit lane. As Caesar, 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. So there you go. Any advantage that Caesar may or may not have had is out the window. This is genuinely for position now for that 3rd spot between these two drivers. It's kind of the thing that we were thinking was going to happen. Caesar trying to push as much as he can to stay within 3 seconds, and he's lost it. And now, Ronnie to the inside of Granny. Side by side they go. And the Haas is going to get that one. 5 laps to go here. Reimer's actually not clawed back any gap to Ayahuasca. He's still as far as, if not further behind than he was a couple of laps ago. What is Ayahuasca doing differently here that Reimer isn't? George Mazda guy up to 6 seconds in penalty now. Got Slayerized and Anime Boy. Good battle going on there. Slayerized looks like, at least for the time being, he's going to get around the Williams. Little bit of a bump there. Nothing too serious. So Slayerized up to 10th. Anime Boy, if he picks up a penalty, this will be another battle genuinely for position. Started with 19, we've lost 2, as the 2 Red Bulls will swap around position here. Monster Pits. 0.3 of a second now between Granny and Ronnie. Reimer, again, for the time being, has just no answer to Ayahuasca. Very, very odd how he's just not been... Oh, big slide there for Capitan. He's gotten on the throttle. That car's gone round. Well, that one was very much felt sudden, didn't it? Meanwhile, Granny's actually gotten around the Haas once more. Apologize, we didn't see that. We did have the Ferrari go around. That was very sudden there for Capitan. Gets on the throttle immediately. That car hooks sideways. Thankfully, you're at a slow speed, and you're in a position in that stadium where you're just not going to hit anything right there. Anime Boy's going to get back around Slayerized. Slayerized going to try to outbrake around the left side. If he stays to the inside, he'll have a good chance. Oh, not quite. Just not quite. The line this time will be 3 laps to go. Ronnie still half a second back to Granny here. I think a podium for Granny would be a fantastic way to start the season. Slayerized has not had that good of a start. Oh, Ayahuasca, no! He's lost it on his own! Coming out of turn 16, Ayahuasca's put it in the fence. Missing the front wing, he's given Reimer the lead of the Grand Prix here. Unbelievable. Oh, and he's got to be kicking himself for that one, because not only has he lost the lead, he's lost front wing as well. He's going to continue to plummet. And these two could now be battling for maybe second place as well. 3 laps to go. As Ronnie to the inside of Granny. Those two are going to switch position. They're being very respectful towards each other. Just unbelievable. That one was out of the blue. Ayahuasca on the throttle as Granny. Oh, and Granny's got 3 seconds of penalty. That'll be 6 for him. That's unfortunate. But Ayahuasca coming out of that corner. Turn 16 getting on the throttle. That car's obviously had a bit of a slide, and he's put it in the fence on the inside. That is so unfortunate for Ayahuasca, who was really walking away with that one. Had to be said, Reimer had no answer. He was still behind by about 2 seconds. Let's see, maybe you'll have a look here. Reimer's going to go through the corner. It's about there where you get back on throttle. That car does want to take round with you, because there is a slight bit of camber through there. As Lancey up to 6 seconds in penalty. We now have 2 laps to go in this Mexican Grand Prix. Ryan Ayahuasca, he'll be hoping for the end of this one here. Second place is still a very good place to be, considering it looks like he's hit that wall. Just from the amount of damage that he has, it looks like he's hit that wall decently hard. Not hard enough to DNF, as you can see. Not hard enough to lose the entirety of the front wing, but he's lost more than an end plate there. Which tells me that car is rather violently gone in there. Lancey trying to get around Caesar, and I tell you what, this will help. This will help. This will help Granny a lot. Because if Lancey puts time behind to Caesar, currently that's a 3-9 gap. That'll probably allow Granny to keep that 4th spot. Someone's gone around there. Capitan's gone a little bit slow. Oh, he's missing some front wing too. I think, not really sure what's just happened. We've got a yellow flag. The Sauber of Mazda guy's gone off. Yeah, who that's really going to help is that of Granny, because Lancey's dispatched Caesar, who was the next closest guy with only 3 seconds of penalty. It's got 3.5 seconds behind Lancey, who's also on 6 seconds, and then Caesar, who's 7/10 behind that. Tell you what, Granny's got to hope for here is another 3-second penalty by Ronnie in this final lap. It's 3/10 between the two. As we enter the final lap of the Grand Prix, Reimer's got a 9-second advantage over Ayahuasca after that incident from him. And now Granny. Oh, is he going to be able to have something here? DRS activated. He's not using his battery. He's being very calm. Maybe he's going to have a look to the inside. Not quite. Through 2, 3 after that. Got to hope for Ronnie to make a hell of a mistake here and pick up a 3-second penalty, which could happen. This is where it could be now. Granny's going to be along the outside. If he doesn't, well, he is going to clear Ronnie here. What I was going to say was, if he didn't clear Ronnie, and they were genuinely side by side through it, Ronnie could have gone off track and then picked up that penalty. Granny's really got to hope now that Ronnie picks this up on his own, going through 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. We'll check back with that in a minute, but for the time being, Reimer, well, every once in a while you get enough luck to get you over the line, and well, that may have happened for Reimer here today. There's no discrediting the pace that he's had. Oh, but goodness me, Ayahuasca's mistake is going to haunt him here as Rapid Reimer crosses the line and wins the Mexican Grand Prix. Ayahuasca will limp that car home in second. Fair enough to him, still finishes that second spot. Granny crosses the line third. Ronnie will be given that third spot on penalty. Lancey fifth. Caesars is going to overtake Lancey, but only fifth for Caesar. So second and fifth for the V-Carbs. I think that's got to undoubtedly be the team that will be leading the constructors after this. Taylor McKenzie has put that car about as heavy into the wall as he possibly could. Capitan coming around the line now to finish 10th. 11th will be Slayerized. 12th will be Monster, and then rounding out the grid, P13 will be that of Auto Labs, as Gazboy has retired after crossing the line in P17. So, thank you for joining us. That's been a hell of a race today. Do stick around and join us next time when we head to the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache in Sao Paulo, Brazil for the second round of this 4th season of the Monkey Mafia Esports F1 League. For Hotspot, it has been a pleasure joining you here, and we'll see you next time. Reimer, your winner today.